The images are hard to look at, the stories even harder to hear. We're talking about lost fingers or thumbs.
Yeah, nationwide, several people say they've been hurt while using a crossbow made by the leading manufacturer. My teammates Bennett Haeberle joins us to explain the problem and the consumer investigation now underway. Bennett.
Dave and Brooke, federal safety regulators are now looking into Barnett crossbows after more than a dozen complaints were filed, including those of an Indiana man who's now suing that company and says his life will never be the same. A warning, some of the images are graphic. It's that fast, more than 300 feet per second. The speed at which a crossbow string fires an arrow.
That's almost like a bullet going off as soon as you let go of that string.
David Haeberle learned that the hard way. This fall, while hunting in a wooded area near his Anderson, Indiana home, he spotted a deer, drew his Barnett jackal crossbow, and fired.
I knew that it was really damaged. I could see the bone and top of the finger leaning over, and I just went into shock.
He missed, but bagged something more painful. The crossbow's drawstring severed his right thumb.
It wasn't just a sting, it was more serious. So I had to end up flipping it back over, the meat and the bone, and wrapping it up in the shirt and getting to the nearest hospital.
David says when he was aiming at his target, he was looking through the scope and didn't notice that his thumb was potentially in harm's way.
I thought I was going to lose my thumb. It was pretty scary.
Doctors were able to reattach his thumb, but others haven't been so lucky. Nationwide, several people claim they've been seriously hurt while shooting a Barnett crossbow that lacked finger guards, plastic wings meant to keep shooters' hands out of harm's way. So far, more than a half dozen people have sued, and because of the threat of additional lawsuits, Barnett Outdoors declined to talk to us. But in a video deposition provided by the attorneys for those hurt, Barnett's chief product designer, David Barnett, defended his family's company.
We go over and above everything in the industry to make our products safe. You know, finger reminders, we have holes through the grips, we print all over the limbs, warning stickers on the tracks.
While other crossbow manufacturers added finger guards to some of their models years ago, Barnett didn't add them to the Jackal until 2013. Despite that, iTeam8 found Jackals without finger guards are still being advertised.
There it is. That's the same kind of bow that I have right there.
David Barnett contends the guards are simply a preventative measure, not a cure for careless hunters.
I know that any incidents that happen with a crossbow are people that are not familiar with a crossbow, and people that haven't read instructions, haven't looked at labels, had no intention of looking at labels.
During his testimony, Barnett tells an attorney his crossbows are just as safe without the guards.
I was hunting with that crossbow. I bring it to my shoulder, and I'm left-handed, and I would hold it like so. Fingers through there, on the palm rest. Never fingers above. So that's how I would be holding that. That's how I teach them.
At the Outdoor Sportsman Shop in Greenwood, salesman Bryce Kalin says even with finger guards on newer crossbows, he encourages caution and provides a safety lesson for each new buyer.
So from here, I tell people to shoot a flat hand or shoot a closed fist. With that being said, shooting a closed fist, you're going to keep your fingers out underneath the string.
After his injury, Haeberle says Barnett offered to replace his bow. He declined and instead hired an attorney. He says an investigator from the Consumer Product Safety Commission visited his house and inspected his bow. The CPSC confirms it has an ongoing compliance investigation into Barnett, and its website continues to receive complaints, including one filed this week. For Haeberle, he says he can no longer hunt and owes thousands in medical bills.
It's depressing, it really is, because you're right, it's messing with my day-to-day activities, you know, like when you want to grab out of a door or something, like, oh, the pain, you know.
And David Haeberle says he even has trouble with small things like buttoning his shirt. He'd like to see crossbows without finger guards taken off the market. We reached out to online retailers like Amazon, Fingerhut, and Gander Mountain, all of which we found advertising Barnett Jackals without finger guards. None of them returned our phone calls or emails. Bennett Haeberle, 24 Hour News 8.